Hi guys, Joe here and welcome to 750 Gaming and this next instalment in my Adeptus Parentis series thing. In this one, my boys and I will be making a building. So, in the previous one of these, we made a battlemat. It turns out, whilst the boys love our light rule set for playing with my minifigure statue things as they've now taken to calling them, they're bored of our industrial setting. The cheek of them. Sorry boys, turns out my terrain game lacks variety. It's not up to par. Could do better. But my challenge to them was that they had to help me. So, we made a dusty Martian desert wasteland battlemat. Fab. Now it's time to put some buildings on it. And I thought, what's the easiest building to make? Well, it's got to be those L-shaped ruins, right? Now, let me caveat this all to begin with. This is not high-end scratch-built terrain by any stretch of the imagination. We're not making stuff here to the detail of your favourite hobby YouTuber, though Eric did a similar thing in his hobby workshop, and this is kind of just proving the whole point. The principles are the same. It's just, I'm going to let my kids get involved. And they have the investment, they have the buy-in, and so here goes. We used simple cardboard boxes, the thicker double-ply kind that Amazon boxes are made of. In fact, that's precisely what we used. I got the boys to do a bit of measuring to make sure that the scale was right and the windows were going to be at the right size and height and the floors were going to be at the correct elevation. All of those considerations. And then we cut out some shapes. Rory started using some scissors for the overall shape, and then I let him have a go with my craft knife. He was very careful and sensible, and I was really proud of him and how seriously he took being safe. The great irony being that it was actually me who then cut myself in the process of finishing the windows. Hopefully a valuable teaching moment for them on how dangerous it can be when you aren't being safe. Anyway, we folded our long walls into L shapes and then Rory did some glue gunning. Now if you don't have one, try and get one. They're pretty cheap these days and they're really useful. But if you can't get one, then various super glues and PVA glues can work if you pin it all together with cocktail sticks. You'll just need to wait longer for drying. We added a little bit of detailing. Some window ledges here, some window boards there, that kind of thing. And on some other buildings we did later, we did some buttresses and some other details too, just for a bit of variety. But we're not trying to overgild the lily here. We're just trying to give it some sort of visual interest. And then Freddie, who had been waiting super patiently, hit it all with a watered down PVA glue solution with one of those spray spritz bottle things, and he really enjoyed this bit. Before it went dry and sealed, I chucked a load of tile grout powder on it. Now you may be thinking that tile grout is maybe a bit out there as a crafting material, but we just tiled our kitchen, so I happen to have some left over. It's a tenner for a 2.5 kilogram bag from B&Q here in the UK, and if you've got room to store it, then I highly recommend picking some up, because it achieves two things. The first is texture. By chucking the powder on a watered down PVA mix randomly, it dries in a wonderful scale concrete texture. And the second thing it achieves is strength. Obviously, putting watery stuff onto cardboard or paper usually ends in a mess, but the grout means it all dries solid and strong. I did the grouting, in case you're wondering, just to protect those little hands, and also, it's just a dusty mess, and I didn't feel like clearing up the inevitable carnage at this point. After that dried, we hosed it down with one more spray of the watered down PVA mix, and then it was rock solid. So simple and effective. And now it's time to paint it. I undercoated with a black rattle can, because the kids don't need to be using these kind of things yet, but I did get them to try their very best at dry brushing some grey highlights. With some other bits of terrain, I've just done a zenithal with a grey rattle can again, but it's good to let the boys play with the paint and maybe learn a bit of a technique. And they were actually pretty accomplished at it, and I was really impressed, to be honest. So there you go. We made a few other buildings, like I said, over the course of a few days, and we now have a load of scratch-built terrain that both the boys helped with and have some sort of investment in. And of course, they don't need to be perfect. This is not the point. You know, we did some decorating on our hallway this last week gone, and the boys asked if they could help paint. Well, yes, they painted. I don't know if it was helpful or not, but they did it. And then, of course, we painted over the top of it. If you know, you know, right? But this was purely for them to play with, and me. And it didn't really matter how they turned out. And the fact that they were decent and frankly good enough for me is just a delightful cherry on the top. But the whole thing was really for them. I did a few things to help and guide, but they had all the agency. Some of the bases that they're on have warped a bit. Of course they have. But it doesn't matter. They are happy. And you know what? So am I. And for the amount of time and effort they took, I think they look pretty great.
And some people can shoot through the gap to get to other people. That's where I was shooting. And I'm going to be here, and then I'll shoot through there to get somebody else. And then if I go up onto here, I'll be able to shoot everyone. Oh yeah, that would be easy to issue, sure. So you jump onto here, then you jump onto here. I mean, you can.
So that's building making with kids. Now we have a battle mat and we have some line of sight blockers. What else do we need, I wonder? Miniatures? Maybe. Let's be honest, I've got plenty. And the boys quite enjoy the novelty of playing with my Space Marines and other things for the moment, and you know what, I'm pretty content to let them. I'm sure they might want to do their own at some point. They've had a go at painting a few things before. If they're interested, maybe they can have another go at creating their own little armies. That Combat Patrol magazine is just launched, after all. Yeah, that's a dangerous thought. It's for the kids, he tells his wife as she rolls her eyes at the growing pile of potential. Yeah, let's see what happens. Hopefully I'll catch you then when it does. But for now, thanks for watching.
Let's go!
Yes, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this content, then do hit like and give me a comment below. I don't do this to pay my bills, it's just for fun without a regular release schedule or anything. So hit subscribe to catch these videos when I do them, or visit my Instagram for my hobbying updates. My content isn't monetized, I have no Patreon, but if you want to tip the busker by chucking some pennies in the digital hat, then I have a buy me a coffee thing set up and I'll be very grateful. See you next time.